Welcome to our guide on how to handle product returns for your eBay dropshipping business. As an online seller, dealing with returns is inevitable and part of the business. At Zeek Analytics, we understand the importance of mastering product returns efficiently on eBay and how to avoid defects, suspensions, and other potential issues during this process. We'll walk you through the entire process of handling a product return on eBay, covering the return process for different suppliers, including Walmart, Amazon, and Aliexpress. The goal here is to help you save time, money, maintain good account health, and provide excellent customer service. We will clarify the following topics: how a product return policy looks for eBay buyers, how to update your primary return shipping address, how to create a return policy that mirrors your supplier's return policy, how to issue a prepaid return label from your supplier, how to handle a product return A to Z process, and how to automate your returns using the AutoDS return system. So, whether you're selling on eBay as a dropshipper, selling your own stock, or just selling secondhand items, this guide can help you streamline your product return process. So now, before we start, here is a pro tip from me. Our goal as eBay sellers is to address returns as soon as possible. If you delay sending a return label, eBay might step in and send one on your behalf, potentially using your registered return address on file, or in some rare cases, even refund your buyer for the product without shipping the product back to you. So to avoid this issue, it's best to manage returns within 24 hours. So, are you ready? Keep this in mind and let's get started. First, let's view how buyers on eBay see the product return policy from their side. So you have the return time frame. Determine the period within which buyers can return items. Typically, eBay allows for a 30-day return window, but you can extend it up to 60 days or decrease this to a minimum of 14 days based on your business needs and supplier policies. For example, Amazon and Walmart usually allow 30 days or more to return your items, whereas Aliexpress sometimes allows returns up to 15 days. Refund will be given as, for this one, eBay sellers have two options. The first is money back, and the second is money back or replacement. Return shipping costs. Decide who will cover the return shipping costs. In many cases, dropshippers offer free returns because suppliers like Walmart or Amazon cover the cost of return shipping. So, if you are a dropshipper, this allows you to provide a prepaid return label to your eBay buyers at no additional cost to you. Before I show you how to create a return policy that mirrors your supplier's return policy, I suggest changing your primary return shipping address on your eBay seller account. Why, you might ask? Well, in some rare cases, when a buyer wants to return a product quickly, they may call or chat with eBay customer service to expedite the return process. In some situations, eBay can issue the buyer a return shipping label, and the address to return the item will be the primary return shipping address you have on file on eBay. This is why I recommend avoiding complications when eBay issues a shipping label on your behalf and setting a reliable primary return shipping address. So to change your primary return shipping address, all you need to do is go on Account Settings, click on Personal Info, then Addresses, and finally, click Add or Change Address. If you are selling on eBay.com, use a US address that you own, a third-party warehouse, or an address belonging to a friend or family member. This ensures that returns are sent to an address you can access and manage effectively. Overall, it is better to avoid eBay stepping in by handling returns ASAP so that the buyer returns the item directly to the supplier. But this step will cover you in case eBay provides the return label on your behalf. So, what do you think about this video so far? Do you find it useful for your eBay business? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive more quality content like this. So let's jump into creating a return policy. But before we create it together, let's understand what a return policy is. We can look at it as a template with return rules. Basically, eBay understands that in your store, you might have products with different return rules. Some can be returned after 30 days and some after 60 days. Some products can be returned by international buyers, while others can only be returned by domestic buyers, and so on. For each of these rules, we can set a return policy. When we create a product listing, before listing it on eBay, we will be able to choose the correct return policy that fits the product. Now, if you are dropshipping with multiple suppliers, such as Aliexpress and Amazon, you might need to have a separate return policy for each supplier to mirror their return policies. So let me guide you step by step on how to create a return policy for dropshippers who are working with local suppliers like Amazon and Walmart, as well as those using international suppliers like Aliexpress. So first, to create a return policy, you're going to go to this link, and this link will also appear in this video's information. Or you can go to Account Settings and Business Policies. So when you're here, you're going to choose Create Policy and select Return. So let's start creating a return policy for local suppliers like Amazon and Walmart. This policy will mirror the return for fulfilled by Amazon or fulfilled by Walmart products. In the policy name, we can use a name that we will easily identify, such as Return Policy Local Suppliers. Now, in the Domestic Returns section, we will click on this radio button and add the following. So, allowed within 30 days, as most products are returnable within 30 days. For Walmart, some products are eligible for return even after 90 days. However, 30 days can cover us well, and it reduces the chances of getting returns from buyers who heavily use the product and then wish to return it after a long time. Return shipping paid by. So by the buyer, this option is good because buyers will think twice before returning the item, as they have to pay for the return. And then you actually have also pay by the seller. If you prefer to offer the product with free returns and get a bit of a boost from eBay from these products, you can select by the seller, because Amazon and Walmart do provide free returns in the form of a prepaid return label for all Prime or fulfilled by Walmart products. I would recommend for beginner sellers to use by the buyer option, and more experienced sellers to use by the seller option. Note that if the buyer requests to return the item and chooses one of these following reasons for the return of the product: doesn't match description or photos, received wrong item, missing parts or pieces, and or arrived damaged. These responses will let the buyer return the product for free, and the seller will have to provide the prepaid return label. For the refund method, we will choose money back. Now, this part is important in the international returns section. We will keep it closed and won't activate it as we are selling domestically using Walmart and Amazon. So now, all you have to do is click Save. Perfect. Now, let's create a return policy that can fit dropshippers who are working with Aliexpress. I will repeat the same process by clicking Create Policy and selecting Return. In the policy name, I will write Return Policy International Suppliers. Now, in the domestic return section, we will click the radio button and add the following. So allowed within 14 days, as Aliexpress allows you to return products within 15 days of receiving the item without explanation as long as the item is in good condition and in the original packaging. Return shipping paid by. Now, we would like to reduce international returns as much as possible. So in this case, I will choose return shipping paid by buyer. And the refund method is money back. Since we are selling internationally using AliExpress as a drop shipping supplier, we will have to click on the radio button to allow international returns and basically add the same settings as for domestic returns. So here you will have allowed within 14 days, return shipping paid by the buyer, and refund method is money back. We made it. We created return policies for both international and local suppliers. The nice part is that now you understand how to create a return policy. You can customize it to fit your exact needs in case you are working with different suppliers or using a different online selling model. So now let's talk about return rules for own stock sellers. This step is not recommended for dropshippers, but if you are selling your own stock from home or use a third-party warehouse, these return rules can be useful for your business. You can save time and streamline the process by creating basic rules for automatically approve returns or send immediate refunds. To make this process hassle-free for both you and your buyers, you can access this link, which also appears in the video description, and set your preferred return rules. These rules can be as follows. Send a refund automatically. When a buyer requests a refund, you can let them keep the item and automatically send a refund if the total refund amount is below a specific threshold. This is ideal for cheap products or products that cannot be reused or returned to the supplier after purchase. Reasons for automatic refunds can include doesn't fit, changed my mind, found a better price, don't like it, arrived damaged, and more. By selecting the appropriate reasons and setting a refund limit, you can quickly resolve low-cost issues without requiring the item to be returned. The second rule you can set is to approve a return policy automatically. You can automatically approve returns if the total refund amount is below a specific threshold, and the reason for the return falls within your predefined categories. eBay will automatically send a return label to your buyers, and returns will be sent to your primary return shipping address on file. And at the end of this page, you will notice the option to add a return authorization or RMA. When creating return rules, you have the option to include an RMI or return merchandise authorization. This helps you track returns more efficiently and ensures all returns are authorized before being processed. Also, you can set advanced return rules. If you need more specific rules beyond the basic options, eBay allows you to create advanced return rules. These can be tailored to fit various scenarios and ensure that your return policies are flexible yet controlled. Before I show you the most important part of the return process that's going to save you a lot of time and money, I would be grateful if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. This way, we'll be able to reach more e-commerce enthusiasts like you and help them scale up their online businesses. So now let's talk about how to issue a prepaid return label from your suppliers. Before I guide you through the process of handling a return, there is one step that I consider the most important of all, which is issuing the prepaid return label from the suppliers we are working with. Using this return label, which looks like this, the buyer who requested the return can print it and tape it to the product package. Then ship the item directly from any post office location or specific shipping companies back to the supplier. The nice part is that it's free. Once we issue this prepaid return label from the supplier, the buyer will ship the product back to the supplier for free. And we won't pay for the return either. Once the product reaches back to the supplier, we automatically get the refund to the payment method we used to buy the product. So simple, so practical, don't you think? So let me now show you how to properly issue the free return label from Walmart, Amazon, and Aliexpress. Let's start with issuing a prepaid return label from Walmart. All you have to do is go to the order from Walmart by clicking on Purchase History. You will find the product you want to return. From here, you will click Start a Return. And we will check the product that we want to return. After this, we click on Continue. In the reason for the return, you can add the best option that best fits the eBay customer return reason. We can add a comment in addition to it, but it's not mandatory. So you can go ahead and click on Continue. In this step, we can choose how we want our buyer to return the item. We have many return options, like schedule a pickup from the buyer's house or return the product to the Walmart store. Now, these are all really good options, but not relevant for us. The other option, which is the best way to have a return on eBay, is to provide a prepaid return label. This is why we are providing the buyer in the return request that was open on eBay a return label. And all the buyer needs to do is go to any U.S. post office in the USA, or in this case, FedEx, a FedEx branch, and drop the item there with a return label attached to the product package. So for this one, we will choose Return by Mail. Now, in this step, I will review the refund amount to match what I paid for the order on Walmart. Once I complete that, I will click Submit. And here we go. You can see the return is in progress. Now I will click View Label and Instructions. And from here, you can go ahead and print return label. And look here. This is the prepaid return label, which means Walmart has us covered and we don't even need to pay to ship the product back because the label we received has already been paid by Walmart. This prepaid return label I will need to provide to my buyer in the return request that was open on eBay. So once the buyer ships back the order to Walmart, I will get a notification on eBay, and once the product reaches Walmart, I will instantly get the refund. From there, I can issue the refund to my buyer on eBay. Now, let's do the same to get a return label from Amazon. And as you will see, the process is almost the same. Let's quickly issue a prepaid return label from Amazon. First, you're going to want to log into your Amazon account and go to your order history. Now, from here, you're going to want to find the item you need to return and click on the Return Items button. Then, of course, you will enter the reason for the return as provided by the eBay customer and submit the return request. Now, from here, Amazon will generate the return label. Don't forget to save this prepaid return label to your computer because we will use it in the return on eBay. So we know how to issue a prepaid return label from Walmart and Amazon. Now let's issue a return label from Aliexpress. Aliexpress is a little more complex, but don't worry. We are here to guide you through the process. But first, I recommend that if you have a return for a cheap product you sourced from AliExpress, just refund the buyer on eBay first, and then deal with the refund from the AliExpress supplier. In most cases, for cheap products, the supplier on AliExpress will provide you with a refund for the order without you having to return the item. It may be immediate in some cases, and in others, it may take a few days. You see, issue refunds for cheap products can be more beneficial for suppliers on AliExpress because the return label can cost more than the product itself. Now, let me guide you through the process of receiving the prepaid return label. So you're going to have to open a dispute. And in order to do that, you have to log into your AliExpress account and you're going to go over to My Orders. Select the order that includes the item you actually want to return. Now from here, you're going to click on Open Dispute and then select Return Goods as the type of dispute. Now submit the dispute by providing the following: delivery status, which means if you received the product or not. Select the reason for return. Select your application type. It means if you want a refund or a replacement for the product. And add the refund amount. And this needs to equal to how much you paid for the product. Lastly, upload videos or photos in case the product is defective or does not match the product description. And you can ask for all of this from your eBay buyer as part of the return process. After we open the return request on AliExpress, the seller has 5 days to respond. If the return is approved by the seller, a free return label will be provided. If not, you can escalate the dispute to AliExpress. In most cases, for cheap products, the AliExpress seller will provide a refund without even needing to return the product. If the AliExpress seller provides the prepaid return label, they will inspect the return item, and if everything looks good, the refund process will be initiated. Note that refunds are typically processed within 10 business days and credited back to your original payment method. After we understand how to issue a prepaid label from our suppliers, let's talk about the process of how a return happens on eBay. For those of you who didn't get a return request yet, the process looks like this. First, let's review and understand the return dashboard. So accessing the dashboard, go over to your eBay overview page and hover over orders. Then select return. Here you'll find the returns dashboard. Now the details displayed on this dashboard, you can see key details such as item image, status of the return request, and specific reasons for returns. Return page overview. So product return page, when you click on a return request, it will take you to a detailed return page. This page shows the item details, buyer's return reasons, and available actions like approving the return or uploading a label. Okay, so now that we have a better idea about the return dashboard of eBay, let's follow it step by step. What you need to do when you get a notification from a buyer return. Step 1 is the customer request. So the customer initiates a return request. And this can happen in 2 ways. They can send a direct message on eBay explaining why they want to return the item, for example, wrong size or damage, or they can open a formal return case on eBay, one that will be visible on the return dashboard of eBay. Now for this is a pro tip from me. Never offer money back or a return without asking the buyer to open a formal case on eBay. If the buyer communicates with you about returning the item via direct messages, you can tell the buyer that you will be happy to help with returning the item and even provide a free prepaid return label. But they do need to click on return this item from their order page. So a formal case on eBay will be created. This will help keep you safe in case the buyer claims they never got their money back, as eBay will act as the middleman between you and your buyer in the return request and ensure the process is smooth for both sides. Step 2 is approving the return. So once you receive the return request, approve it through the eBay platform. This initiates the formal return process on eBay's side. Now, step 3 is adding the prepaid return label. Now, remember, I showed you how to get a prepaid return label from the supplier. Well, now it's time to use it. We will upload the prepaid return label to the case. Once you approved the return, you will be asked the following: provide an eBay label, upload your own label, confirm you sent a label. You will need to choose upload your own label. You can upload the return label you got from the supplier. If you want the product to be shipped back to your registered address on file in the US, you can choose provide an eBay label. You can purchase a label from eBay and the buyer will be able to use it to ship the product back to your registered US address. Next, you will need to upload the prepaid return label from the supplier, and eBay will automatically extract the tracking number and the courier from the label. If it doesn't go through, you will need to add it manually. Just make sure you add everything correctly. Step 4 is communicating with the buyer. When uploading the label, also send a message to the buyer. This will give the buyer confidence about the return, as the eBay seller is helping them return the item. Additionally, this will decrease the chance of receiving negative feedback from the buyer. So here's my recommended template, which is also available in the video description below. And this is how it goes. Hello, buyer name. We have approved your return request and uploaded the return label to eBay. If you encounter any issues downloading the label through eBay, please use the attached label in the message. Please pack the item securely to avoid any damage during transit. Once we receive and inspect the returned item, we will process the refund. Thank you. And then add your name. Also, ensure the return label is attached to this message as well. Step 5, waiting for the buyer to ship the item back. So basically, our job is almost done. Now it's up to the buyer to ship the product back to us. eBay will show you and your buyer the due date for the item to be shipped using the return label. Once the buyer ships the product back, you will receive a notification and you will see in the return dashboard that the product is on its way back to you or your supplier. Now, what will happen if there is no evidence the buyer shipped the item back after the due date? Well, in this case, you can just communicate with eBay via chat or over the phone and ask to close the return case. Then you will receive the funds back and the return will be closed. I highly recommend doing this as it helps your cash flow by not having money on hold. And step 6 is issuing a refund. So if the buyer ships the product back to you or your supplier, you will be able to track it using the case on eBay. Once the product is delivered back, you can confirm that your supplier, like Amazon, Walmart, or Aliexpress, has processed a refund for the returned item. If they have, you can refund your buyer on eBay by simply clicking Issue a Refund in the return case. If the refund window is closing and you didn't receive the refund from the supplier yet, consider issuing the refund to your buyer before you receive the supplier's refund to avoid delays. These days, suppliers like Amazon, Walmart, and Aliexpress will automatically issue the refund once they receive notification that the product has been delivered to them. After issuing the refund mark, the return request is resolved. By following these steps, dropshippers can efficiently manage returns, save on shipping costs, and maintain good customer service, ensuring smooth operations and healthy account standings on eBay. Tips for efficient return management. Clear return policy. Ensure your return policy is clearly stated in your listings to avoid confusion. Prompt communication. Engage promptly with buyers to address any issues quickly. Documentation. Keep records of all communications and transactions related to the return. By following this guide, you can handle product returns on eBay smoothly, ensuring both you and your buyers have a positive experience. So, what do you think about product returns on eBay now? Do you feel more comfortable dealing with product returns with ease after watching this guide? Well, share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Now, in this last section, we will dive into how the eBay return system operates when using AutoDS, focusing on issuing and managing return labels. AutoDS simplifies order management, including returns, for dropshippers by automating many of the processes. Here's a quick step-by-step guide on how to handle returns using the AutoDS return system. AutoDS handles all order management processes, including returns, for users of its Fulfilled by AutoDS service. This means less manual work for dropshippers. When a buyer wants to return an item, you need to change the order status to request return in your AutoDS dashboard. This option is available once the order has been delivered. To issue the prepaid return label, you will need to do the following. Change order status. To start, log in to your AutoDS account and find the order that needs to be returned. From here, you're going to change the status of the order to request return. Download the return label. Within 24 hours, the managed order icon will turn blue, indicating that the return label is ready for download. Download this label to your computer. Next, go to your eBay return request page for the specific item. Choose the upload your own label option and upload the return label you downloaded from AutoDS. Make sure to select the correct carrier and enter the tracking number. Communicating with the buyer. After uploading the return label to eBay, it's crucial to communicate with the buyer. Send the same message template I shared in this video before that is available, also in the video description, explaining that the return label has been provided through eBay. Attach the return label file to this message. Receiving refunds from suppliers. After the supplier receives the returned item and processes the refund, AutoDS will automatically credit your balance. This process can take 1 to 2 weeks. The status of the order in AutoDS will change to return completed once the refund is processed. You can check your purchase history to confirm the refund. Quite simple and makes the process easier, don't you think? Handling returns on eBay doesn't have to be stressful. By following these steps and understanding the return process of your suppliers, you can manage returns efficiently and keep your customers happy. Remember, returns are a normal part of any business that sells physical products. By being prepared and knowing the steps, you can handle them smoothly. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more tips on managing your eBay dropshipping business. If you have any questions or need further clarification, leave a comment below and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.